Summit County, Colorado, a beautiful part of the state known for excellent skiing and breathtaking views. But life in a forest community comes with risks that must be addressed by residents who live there. In this edition of Community Voices, we'll see that in Summit County, it's a community effort.
So fire has always been part of the forest. It's a natural, essential part of the life cycle, and it has become a problem because people are here.
People live here because it's so stunningly beautiful and mountainous. As far as our natural ecosystem goes, it's so unique. We have mature conifer stands, we have beautiful aspen stands, we have incredible wildflowers in the steep mountainous country. It's really a special place, and that's why I choose to live here. The flip side of that is that our ecosystem is fire adapted.
Living in Summit County and really in the Mountain West, wildfire is a reality of our environment, a reality of our culture, and unfortunately it's kind of reared its ugly head in the press for the last several years with bigger fires, with homes burning down. And the reality is fire is a part of the ecosystem. It has to be part of the ecosystem. And we've eliminated fire from the ecosystem for so many years, starting back in the early 1900s. And as a result, the fuel load has grown up, and fire behavior and size of the fires has increased really in the last 10 years exponentially.
Wildfire prevention is an effort that we take on, hopefully all of us accept the fact that we live where wildfire lives.
This is probably one of our biggest challenges here in Summit County is the public education piece. Our population turns over regularly. It can turn over week to week and sometimes day to day. But then with new homeowners moving into the area, public education becomes super important because the first thing that they tell us is they moved here for the trees. And we all moved here at one point for the trees, including myself. But it's important to understand that nature and these forests cannot exist in a vacuum, and they cannot exist statically. We try to do a lot of public education revolved around wildfire, around the fuels that are involved in wildfires, and how we as a culture can coexist with fire on the landscape, and how we can create landscapes that can coexist in a healthy way with fire on the landscape.
The lodgepole want to have fire in them at certain return intervals, and the same with our spruce fir, aspen as well. And because we've suppressed wildfires in our ecosystems for over 100 years now, what we see is fuel loading that makes our wildfires more intense when they do come through.
There are some things you can do to your property to protect your structure, and we call that defensible space. So if you have your home hidden behind the veil of trees, what you can do is consider pushing the forest back. And that really means cutting the trees down surrounding your structure, your home. We have a few different zones that we ask people to look at. Zone 1, or the immediate zone, is between 5 feet and 30 feet off the drip line of the house. So all vegetation really needs to be cleared from this area, especially the 5-foot zone. Really what the issue is with wildfire, it isn't the flaming front in most cases that burns communities down. In fact, is embers that fly from quite a distance away. They hit your house, the siding, they'll drop into the area surrounding your house, and that could be the quiet way a structure burns down. But if you rock the edge of your house and make sure there are no grasses going under the fascia, that's an important step. So defensible space is taking a good hard look at your property, evaluating what you can do to help save your structure if a wildfire to occur, and then to go ahead and get to work.
Certainly the Forest Service is doing this, our fire protection districts are doing this, and private homeowners and private property owners should be thinking about ways that they can remove fuels from their landscapes so that when a fire comes through, and it's not an if matter, it's a when, our ecosystems are designed to have fire in them. So when the fire comes through, that we can have a decreased fire intensity because we've removed some of the fuels, so that it's a fire that we can contend with as firefighters and defend our values at risk, our homes.
So communities who come together and take the initiative to prepare for wildfire are those who know each other and will support each other when something happens. When you get to know your neighbors and you understand that you're all involved in the same natural disaster potential, it's something that you can work on together.
Engaging our landowners and our stakeholders here in Summit County has been hugely successful. There are certainly people and elements of our communities that really aren't a huge fan of forest work and this engagement into forest restoration. But they also understand what's going on. Last fall, we completed a multi-owner project right outside of the town of Breckenridge, right up against the limits on both county, private, and U.S. Forest Service land, with around 3,000 burn piles. And we burned those piles right next to one of the densest neighborhoods in Breckenridge. We wanted people to come up and see piles burning in the urban interface and to see how tame and controllable that was in the right conditions.
In Summit County, the CSU Extension Office is primarily focused on forestry and wildfire prevention. So I often invite myself to meetings where I ask for a few minutes of their time to talk about the potential of wildfire and how we can work on it together. And eventually we get talking about this issue across the entire county.
The CSU Cooperative Extension for us has been imperative, that relationship. It's super important for us. And most of the fuels work that is done on county, town, and sometimes even federal land runs through our Wildfire Council. The CSU Cooperative Extension piece of it keeps all of that organized for us. And really, I don't know that we could do it without it at this point.
Our Wildfire Council in Summit County is something we take pride in, is the fact that we speak the same language, that we come to the same table, and we work together on this issue.
We've got a good start and a good head of steam, I think. The Forest Service is certainly proactive in their fuels management projects on their land. The county and towns are trying to work in tandem with the Forest Service to make fuels reduction projects that border or dovetail off of what the Forest Service is doing, so that we have big pieces of fuels treated land that are contiguous. And then we, as fire protection districts, are trying really hard to get in touch with homeowners. We have some codes in place that encourage homeowners to do mitigation work on their properties. So I think we have a good start.
In Summit County, we have a number of wildfire prevention programs that really are set up like cogs. We've got large cogs, which are these clear cuts that could occur. We have these moderate cogs, which would be communities coming together to create fuel breaks throughout the built environment. And then we have a small scale program called the chipping program. This is an opportunity for individual landowners to stand on their own and participate in a fuel reduction program without having to coordinate with their neighbors. In the summer, we invite everyone to put trees, branches, really flammable vegetation from their landscape curbside. And then the county has contracted with a group that will come through and chip your material on site and take it away. So everyone gets to participate in the wildfire conversation.
If you can keep your own house safe and you think about others at the same time, then if the whole neighborhood does it, you're going to be pretty safe during a potential fire.
Yeah, and I hear again and again from people who moved to the mountains for their idyllic mountain experience. They didn't know that they were moving to such a fire vulnerable, fire adapted community. And so we want to get them up to speed quickly and also convey some urgency, right? Every summer is a summer in which we could have a fire that disturbs our community, and any one thing that we do on our landscapes, regardless of ownership, helps to reduce fire risk.